I'm not so thin here, I'm all in it. I got a good story every time I wake up. I'm in the action, chips on the table. I want the feel good, I need another percentage. I want the win, lucky seven. Every time I walk in. You know? Every time I walk in, I'm the best thing, I'm the best thing. They all watching every time we walk in.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chelsea Mann, and it is Friday, which means that it is Hacker Hoax Day, baby. It's episode 5, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm excited. I'm going to try a little something new today, guys, so I'm going to ask you guys to be patient with me. I'm going to try a little tech stuff here that I haven't tried before, so I'm really hoping that it works, so stay tuned. If my audio goes crazy, I will, you guys can see my hand now. Look at me. I got 2 screens. So again, my name is Chelsea Mann. I'm a field education trainer with Wella Professional. I'm coming at you from my studio in St. Albert, Alberta. There's my co-host down there. Her name is Roz. For those of you that asked last time, Roz is a Brindle Mastiff, and she sleeps most of the time. So if she barks, I apologize, but it is what it is. So TGIF, everybody. I hope everybody's good. I hope you guys are feeling good. We've got some beautiful weather going in Alberta right now. And yeah, there's really nothing to complain about. I'm on vacation next week. It's a good time here, right? So it is Hacker Hoax episode 5 today, guys. Hacker Hoax, if this is your first time joining us today, it is a series that I've been doing with the help of my team. My team's so amazing. But it's a series that I've been doing just sort of, trying to take some of the myths and some of the things that we hear from our clients and from our friends and from just, civilians. And either making those things to come to life or making them sort of crash or burn. So if you've missed some of my other episodes of Hacker Hoax, please head over to Wella Canada West. It's IG Live. All of them are on there. You'll see they're labeled. They're also the ones with the red rectangle. You guys can find them, no problem. Yeah, Muggles. Thank you, Zena. Yes, all the Muggles out there give me all my ideas for Hacker Hoax. So welcome. Thank you to obviously it's Friday, thank you to Wella Canada West for having me as usual. A couple of housekeeping details, guys. If you guys are wondering why my screen is split, I'm going to show you guys some swatches today. Just figured it was an easier way to do it. So just sort of go with it. Okay. I have a little, I got some pointers as far as tech is concerned. So I'm hoping that this hangs on, although I'm not super hopeful, but I hope you guys are along for the ride. If you guys have questions, please throw them up into the comments. Don't hesitate. That's what we're here for. And if you guys have any questions that you don't want it to be in the comments, at the very bottom of your screen there's a little, looks like a thought bubble with a question mark in it. That's called question card. So feel free to throw your questions up there and I will get to them as soon as I can. Okay. I did throw my Instagram handle up at the top of the hour there. It's at chelsea.wella, and I'll throw it up again at the end if you guys want to wait it out. Okay. So Hacker Hoax today, guys, our big thing that we're talking about today, like we can see in the title, is all hair color is created equal? Is that a hack or a hoax? Sometimes, and I don't know for the other hairdressers that are watching right now, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but clients ask us sometimes what's the difference between professional hair color and the hair color that we can get at the drugstore, at some other places that hairdressers or clients or people might access hair color. What's the difference between professional products and our drugstore products? And, those sorts of questions sometimes as a hairdresser when we're talking to clients are pretty simple to answer. We talk about ingredient quality, we talk about experience, we talk about all those things, which I'm going to talk a little bit further about today. But to ourselves, what is really the difference? Is all hair color created equal? And we are going to Hacker Hoax this today, guys. So I hope that you're in it to win it with me, okay? So again, my name is Chelsea Mann with Wella Professional, and I'm happy that you guys are here with me on a Friday. So let's talk about Wella to begin with, okay? So when it comes to hair color, we, at Wella believe that all color is not created equal, not with a T at the end, okay? So here's the T, guys. Hair color is not always created equal, and from where we're sort of standing, we have different opportunities to have different ingredients for different reasons. I will get up to that shortly. But when it comes to our portfolio at Wella, we have different things for different needs. So they're not all created equal. We have our Colistin Perfect range that gives us, our permanent finish with our gray coverage, with all of our things, right? We have our Color Touch range, which is our demi range, nice and shiny. It's really good for toners. It's really good for people, maybe it's the first time they've colored their hair, things like that. We also have Illumina, which if you haven't heard me talk about Illumina, guys, I love Illumina. Like sometimes, you know, more than my husband some days, you hear me, you know? I love Illumina more than anything else we make. I use so much of it. I think it's such a beautiful color. But again, it's not good or bad. It's just a different finish, right? From KP, we're going to see, or from Colors Perfect, we're going to see a nice saturated opaque finish. Really modern gray coverage, you know, really believable gray coverage. In Color Touch, we're going to see up to 50% gray coverage, maybe up to 70% gray coverage with our Color Touch Plus, but in a nice high shine sort of way. And then in our Illumina, we're going to see a nice sort of sheer dimensional finish in a way that sort of is respectful of the natural pigments in the hair. Now, I think it's important to note with the Illumina before I continue with it. It's important to know with the Illumina, people say to me, oh, it doesn't cover gray like Colors Perfect does. Well, you are correct, sir. It does not cover gray the same way that Colors Perfect does. It covers gray still up to 100%, guys, but it just doesn't cover gray in the same way. Okay, so I want to make that point pretty clear because I'm gonna make a comparison today with Illumina. So I want to just kind of give you guys a little bit of a baseline to sort of go on with our Wella swatches here. Okay, so I do have a whole mess of swatches here, guys. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm looking off camera to sort of keep them straight. But this is where we started with our swatches, okay? So this is the swatch ring I was working from. And again, I'm sorry with my tech here. It's just sort of my first go at it like this. But this is the swatches that we started from, guys. These are level 9 swatches. I work with these swatches all the time. I love that they have a swatch ring on them. And they're sort of really easy to work with and easy to do. So no tricks here, guys. All of the swatches that I started with were on this ring when I started and I colored them. Okay, so they're all done on the same base. Okay, I want you guys to know that there's no tricks here. I'm not trying to fool you. There's nothing like that going on. Okay. The other thing I want to point out before I show you guys any swatches is it's really important to me, guys, that you guys don't ask me what competitor brands I'm going to show you today. I will not tell you. You can ask me a million times. I'm not going to tell you. That's not the point. Okay. Obviously, I'm a Wella lover. I've been using Wella color for a really long time. I will continue. Wella is home for me. But it's not, I would never talk badly about another brand. I certainly will not do that. I will not answer questions about that. So you guys can ask them till you're blue in the face, but I'm going to ignore them. Okay. So let's keep it positive. Okay. So when it comes to Wella, the first one I wanted to show you, and I want to tell you guys the swatches that I did today were all based on the same shade. Okay. And that shade is 7-stroke 4-3. Okay. So 7-stroke 4-3, I'm just going to show you guys here. There we go. You guys can see it right there. 7-stroke 4-3 is this guy right here. Now, this is my Colors Perfect shade, okay? This is the Colors Perfect, and it's the same swatch for your Color Touch one as well. This is the swatch for that shade, okay? So it's a nice jewel tone color. It's a nice rich, saturated, beautiful copper shade, okay? Now, this is the swatch the way it looks like in Colors Perfect and Color Touch. When we see high shine, we see saturated finish, we see nice, beautiful, rich pigments, okay? So by contrast, guys, I'm going to show you guys the same swatch in Illumina, okay? That right there is the same swatch in Illumina, okay? This guy right here, okay? This is the swatch in Colors Perfect and Color Touch. This is the same color in Illumina. Now, I hope what you guys can see, if you watch my live on Illumina, if you didn't, it's okay. It's on IGTV. You guys can go and see it. With the Illumina, we have a nice violet rosé base. We have a nice sheer translucent sort of finish that respects the natural dimension of the hair, right? We really see that here. We really see that with our, just making sure I'm on the right one here. Yeah. So with our Colors Perfect and Color Touch finish, we really see that nice sort of rich background in the color. And with our Illumina version of it, we certainly see, and you guys can see the number there, I'm not cheating you. We certainly see that nice violet rosé base, and we certainly see sort of the difference between those two. But same numbering system, still a level 7, still a dominant red, still a secondary gold. Okay, so this is what I was going off of today, guys, and those are the shades that I used to be the benchmark for all of the colors you guys are going to see today. Okay, so this is Wella Colors Perfect 7-stroke 4-3. Let me just make sure I got the right swatch. Yes, I do. Colors Perfect 7-stroke 4-3 on that level 9 swatch. Now, if you guys saw the swatches I just showed you, you'll see that this color is slightly different than what you saw in the swatch. Now, the reason for that is that this is a level 7 that's was put on a level 9 swatch. So of course we're going to see a little variation in like the way the color is maybe a little bit different than what the swatch is. because it wasn't put on what the base should have been for it, but I wanted to keep the benchmark of all the swatches the same, okay? Now, by contrast, guys, this is the same shade in Color Touch, okay? Now, what we see here, okay, is a little bit of, again, a variation in pigment because we have our demi versus our permanent, but also because they were done on a level 9 swatch. Now, there's not a huge difference here, right? But we certainly see in our KP swatch, we certainly see a little bit more of a matte finish. We certainly see a little bit more of a, downplayed sort of version of the 7-stroke 4-3. And then in our Color Touch, we see a nice, bright, shiny, beautiful finish. Now watch this, okay? This is that same shade in Illumina, okay? Now it's hard to see, I know on Instagram Live, guys, and I know it's hard on swatches, but you can see, again, this middle one is our Colliston Perfect. These, if you're just joining us, these are all three the same shade, guys. This is our 7-stroke 4-3, level 7, dominant red, secondary gold. In the middle, we have it in our Colliston Perfect family. On this side, we have it in our Color Touch family, and on this side, we have it in our Illumina family, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and take our Colliston Perfect one out because this is really the comparison I wanna make here, guys. Here, we've got Color Touch. Here, we've got Illumina, right? So in Color Touch, we see this really still saturated color, nice and shiny and bright and all of those things, but you guys can see the dimension in this, right? We have, in this one, we have the natural highs and lows. We have that sort of respectful finish of that natural dimension that's in the hair. Lesser so, obviously, in swatches because, like I showed you before, all of the swatches are sort of the same color. They're very uniform. But on an actual head of hair, guys, that natural dimension that we see very subtly here, yes, but is still there, is really going to come to life on a real head of hair, okay? So if you guys haven't tried Illumina, please head to your distributor and grab a couple of tubes and try it out. It really is a great shade, a great family of color. And I know that there's some people on right now that agree with me. So yeah, I encourage you guys to go and try it. It's really great if you haven't tried it. But that's the benchmark we're going from today, okay, guys? So I want you guys to remember those shades, 7-stroke 4-3. When I was going out and purchasing all the competitor brands that I was going to show you guys today, I kept that 7-stroke 4-3 in mind and found colors that were marked exactly the same or very, 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 very close. And I think you guys are going to find the results quite interesting, okay? So now that we've looked at Wella, let's look at a way that we can have what would be similar shades, but maybe for what we would call a lifestyle client. So this is maybe, and again, guys, I'm not going to specify here, okay? But this is maybe a client that colors their own hair at home, but maybe they're not interested in buying their color at a drugstore or at a big box store. Maybe they aren't getting their hair professionally colored, but they want to, you know, feel like they had a little bit of something more than just a box color, okay? So in that range, I'm going to show you, the first one I'm going to show you is this one. Now this is a competitor. This is not a Wella brand color. It's a competitor to Wella, but it's the same shade family, right? Now, again, comparative to even the brightest of what we saw in Wella, right? We certainly see a more intense pigmentation in this one, okay? And I think, guys, I wouldn't say that that is either bad or good, you know what I mean? I just think that one of the things that you gain as a hairdresser or as a client visiting a hairdresser and having your hair professionally colored really is predictability. Because if the client has come in and asked for this color and they leave with this color, this is a problem. And this is what happens when people color their own hair. This is a very subtle example, and I'm going to show you guys some more aggressive examples in a minute, okay? So that's the first one, guys. That's the one. This is a competitor brand to Wella, but in the lifestyle segment. So lifestyle segment, guys, is that segment of clients that maybe color their own hair, but they're not interested in doing it with color that they're going to get from a big box drugstore, okay? The second one in this range, guys, that I'm going to show you, same brand, okay? So same competitor brand to Wella, but what they consider to be the demi version of this color that I just showed you. I'm going to leave that one on camera, okay? Look at that. Okay, so the bright one that you guys see there, this one here, okay, is the permanent or oxidative version. So you're a client that wants to color their own hair at home is going to go out and get something like this to do their roots with. The recommended, this brand, again, guys, this is not Wella Color. This is a competitor brand to Wella. This competitor brand is telling their clients through this place, you know, where people are buying their color, that this is the color that they should pull through to match up to this, which I nearly don't have words for, right? So again, guys, this, when clients are saying to you, like, what's the difference between, you know, all hair color is created equal, so I might as well just, you know, give me my formula. I'm going to go to such and such a place and get some color myself. Really, this is what's going to end up happening to them. They're going to have roots this color and ends this color, right? And it's not to say that these, you know, nobody's ever had success with this. Lots of people do this, guys, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? But when you're trying to keep those clients in your chair, it's really important to say, to explain to them that, you know, part of the biggest thing that you pay for in the hair salon, a lot of clients get stuck on this idea that they're paying for our color and our overhead and all this stuff. The biggest thing that you guys are paying for when you're sitting in my chair is my expertise and the fact that you're not going to have roots this color and ends this color. And if you did, you have recourse. This client does this to their own hair. They're not going to go back to that supply place where they got their color and say, hey, this isn't right. The people at the store are going to be like, sorry, man. You know what I mean? So this is part of, you know, I think the idea that all hair color is created equal, it's really not as simple as ingredients, things like that, right? But it does bring me to my next point, guys. When it comes to this type of color, I think that you'll find that a lot of hairdressers lead with ingredients, and it is a super, super valid point, right? When somebody is going to color their own hair, whether it's box color from a big box store or it's, you know, from a lifestyle supply place, really there's the ingredients that you have in professional quality products, guys, are far superior to what you're going to see in those other places, right? So it's just something to keep in mind for those clients when you know, maybe you have a client who's on the fence and saying to you like, oh, maybe I'll start doing it myself. Well, there's reasons why we don't do that, okay? So let's move on to the next one. Now the next two swatches I'm going to show you guys are from the same store, but they're our own Wella brand. Okay, so again, same color families, same, you know, numbers and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so the permanent one is this guy. I numbered all of these so I would be able to see. Okay, so again, little bit of a brighter result than what we saw, certainly a lot brighter a result than what we saw in our professional color. Now, this is also, guys, going to be it's going to vary based on how long the client leaves it on for and all of these kinds of things, right? Whereas when you get your hair professionally colored, you've got somebody timing you and you've got somebody watching you while you should anyway. We've all heard horror stories, but still, okay? So we've got that one. That's the permanent version of the 7-stroke 4-3, the control group, like I showed you, okay? The demi-permanent version that you would pull through in order to do a color balance on the mid-shafted ends looks like this, okay? Which, again, guys, this is Wella Color, but it's a lifestyle brand portfolio that you can get at a supply place that is open to the public, okay? It's not, this isn't box color. I will get to box color. I did do some box color. But this is Wella brand. Now, I think it's interesting that the competitor ones I showed you, demi and permanent, look like this. The bright one is the permanent to do on the roots. The dull one is the demi to do on the ends. That client's not going to be happy, okay? So that's competitor brand color. This is Wella brand color, okay? So this one here is our permanent to go on the roots, and this is the demi to go on the ends. So at least in this way, guys, when you're, you know, your clients are heading out to, you know, color their own hair, I hope not, but if this does happen, you know, at least with Wella, we have some consistency to our portfolio across the board, okay? So I don't see any questions yet, so I'm going to keep going, guys. I do have some more swatches to show you, okay? So just to re-ground us, guys, the colors that we're working off of today are Wella, Colistin Perfect, Color Touch, and Illumina 7-stroke 4-3, which all look something like this, okay? So let's talk about our box color, okay? So this is where it got interesting for you guys. You guys should have seen me. I was in the big box store that shall not be named, but I, you know, if I gave you two guesses to name it, you probably only need one. I wore a hoodie and I had a big hood on and my sunglasses and my mask. Like I was all covered up. First of all, because you're supposed to wear a mask, wear your mask. But also because I was like, this is my luck. Like I'm in my sweatpants. Somebody's really going to see me in this hair color aisle. It's going to be a thing. Thank God it didn't happen, but now I guess they just think I look like a fool. But at any rate, I did buy, now where box color got interesting for me, guys, as a colorist, I look for numbers, right? I'm looking for the numbers. I don't need it that it says mahogany kiss or Tahitian sunrise. Like that doesn't say anything to me, right? I need the numbers. So my first thought with the box color sort of shopping experience was that the boxes do have numbers on them, but ain't no client know what those numbers mean most of the time, guys, you know? So I thought that that was a bit odd, you know? And then I realized that also most of the color in the box color aisle is permanent. It's mostly oxidative color, which is like taking a bullet, guys. Like we don't need to be pulling, you know, color through mid shaft and ends and all sorts of things. So, you know, it's in the realm of is all hair color is created equal. We can talk about ingredients, we can talk about experience, but just in shade selection and appropriate product selection, guys, maybe it's not all hair color is created equal. It's, you know, you are not as a muggle, as Zena so lovingly put it in the comments, you are not equal in knowledge to your colorist, right? So maybe that's part of the sort of the discourse that we should have around this as well, right? So when it comes to box color, I did attempt to pick out shades that were as close to what I could find as possible, right? So again, just to remind you, this is the control group we're working from, okay? So my first permanent box color that I found just so happened to be, and again, I'm not going to tell you which brand it was, but it just so happened to be the matching brand that we saw that bright non-matching color in before. Weird. Look at that. Now this one, guys, I took some notes on this one. This box color, guys, came with a 25 ball, okay? It came with shampoo and a booster, which I just put all of the booster in, which is why, you know, partially why we see some of this. And I found this interesting as well, that it had an extra thing that you put in it so it doesn't smell bad. Because at first, when I started mixing it, it smelled horrible, right? But so you put a whole thing of booster in here, and this is what it is. Now, had I not put the whole thing, like the whole tube of booster in, I know, whoa, hey. Had I not put the whole tube of booster in, it may have looked closer to this. But again, guys, as a muggle or as a civilian, how are we to know? This is another way that all hair color is not created equal, guys. We just don't have, the clients at home just don't have the expertise to be able to control something like this. And then we see them on Facebook groups going, somebody help me, right? So this was my first thing. Never mind the smell, never mind the whole, and I had to read the instructions like 18 times. And I swear I hadn't had anything to drink. It was very weird. Now, by contrast, same brand again, guys. Okay, so same brand. This is our control group. This is our Wella shade that I was trying to match everything up to. This is the demi version. Now, be prepared, guys. It's so crazy. So this is our control group. I'm going to take this one away. This is the permanent version, the box color permanent version. Okay. This is the box color demi version. Do you guys see that? It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I swear, just these few swatches of box color, guys, has cemented what I already knew, that this is a bad idea, right? So with this one, I also took some notes. It was interesting on this. Oh, actually, yes. Also interesting on this one here, guys. The same brand on both of these, but on this one here, the instructions for this one, guys. Oh, that was my dog sneezing. Bless you, Ross. The instructions on this one, guys, tells the client that if they haven't colored their hair in 3 months, that their hair is natural. Yeah. It did have a pretty nice pair of gloves in it though, which I thought was a little bit strange. And the other thing that I thought was a little crazy is that when you're using these box colors, guys, you got to use the whole thing. You got to mix up the whole thing. There's no option to mix up half of it, although I guess you could whip out a scale. But again, guys, my point still stands that if somebody puts this on their roots and puts this on their ends, we've got a problem, right? Now, some people watching this will be saying like, oh, well, Chelsea, nobody's ever going to buy 2 boxes. Clients aren't going to think, oh, I'm going to go to the drugstore and buy 2 boxes of hair color, one for my roots, one for my ends. I beg to differ on that one. But if that was true, unless they have virgin hair, they're super screwed, right? Imagine somebody puts this on already colored hair, roots to ends. We've all had that. I could show you the pictures from high school. Same thing from this, guys. It's a bad idea all the way around, okay? So those are my two swatches of box color. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. I left this to the end on purpose because I wanted to show you guys what a real direct competitor to Wella looks like, okay? So really in the range of all hair color is created equal, I think this is probably the most relevant example, okay? The other stuff I did for fun, it was nice / very informative to go shopping, sort of the way the other half does it. But this told me a lot, okay? So I'm gonna put up the first swatch I put up. This is our control group. So this is Wella Colliston Perfect, 7-stroke 4-3, okay? So level 7, dominant red, secondary gold, done on a level 9 swatch. Now you guys, I'm gonna leave a little bit of the swatch in the frame there just to remind you that if this doesn't look like what you're used to 7-stroke 4-3 looking like, it's because it was done on a level 9 swatch, okay? So direct competitor to Wella, I am not going to tell you which one, okay? But same shade. Okay, so from an ingredients perspective, guys, this is a direct competitor comparison. From an ingredients perspective, you're going to have good things in both of these, okay? I told you guys at the beginning, the point of this is not for me to talk badly about another company. I couldn't if I wanted to. It's not my style, and there's nothing bad to talk about, right? It's just different, right? This is the Wella one. This is the competitor brand, right? For me, this one is quite pigmented considering the level, okay? It's quite bright considering the level, and considering the pigmentation. So in this case, guys, I would say this is neither bad nor good. It just goes to show that when you are, learning a new color line, or when you're transferring or doing certain things, you got to make sure that you maybe do some trial and error and get to know your color line so that you can do the best job that you possibly can do. Okay, so that's a direct competitor comparison from permanent to permanent. Okay, so let's do a different one. So let's go to Demi. Okay, so I already showed you guys this swatch. This is Wella Color Touch 7-stroke 4-3. Okay, so our direct competitor to this one is going to be this guy. Same brand as the other direct competitor. Okay, and same shade from Wella to the competitor. Now, interesting with this one, guys, how close it is, right? And this is a Demi. So in Wella, we saw the permanent version be like this, and then the Demi version be the one next to it. So we would do this one on the root and then pull this one through to the ends, right? But if we've got, this is the Wella Color Touch, this is the competitor Demi, okay? Now, I think the important point here, guys, is that the permanent color that goes with this Demi is this one. And I think there's a pretty strong pigmentation difference there, right? In the permanent one, we've got a nice saturated pigment that's very red. But then in this one, we've got lots and lots of copper. So I don't really see how you would be able to pull this through on a root that looks like this. It doesn't feel good to me, right? So that's another way that hair color really isn't created equal, guys. You want to make sure that as an artist, you're working with a brand of color that, gives you those predictable results, and make sure that you're not going to struggle and always having to be correcting your client's hair because your pigmentation is off. I want to be able to choose my shade in my permanent range, and then find that matching shade in my Demi and do my color balancing easy. Okay. Hey guys. So last but not least, guys, I think is probably my favorite of the whole series. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys this one. This is Wella Illumina 7-stroke 4-3. Okay. And if anybody that knows me knows, I, really, really love Illumina. I use more Illumina than anything else we make. It's absolutely my favorite. Okay. So the great thing about Illumina is that Illumina gives you that natural dimension, which I said before, we can see sort of slightly in this swatch. We see a little bit of variation of color. It's hard on a swatch because the swatch hairs are all the same color. But in this case, we do see some of that dimension come through. This is the competitor brand that also, claims to be respectful of the natural dimension of the hair, will give you the similar finish. Okay. And I thought this was quite interesting. First of all, the obvious glaring thing here, guys, is that it's very dark. Okay. That's a 7, what that's on that swatch right now. Again, I make room for the fact that they're done on level 9 swatches, but the darkness on that was, is unpredictable for me, right? But I also here, guys, don't really see any dimension or variation in pigment the way that we do here. Okay, so this was there was a lot of learning here on these swatches for me. Okay. So there you have it, guys. There now we have seen the way that our color works and the way that, the way that really all hair color is not created equal, and I think that it's important, to note these things. I think it's important to understand these things. I think that it's important when you're choosing hair color, when you're choosing what color you're going to use in the salon, that it's something that you're doing intentionally. It's something that you're doing with all of your sort of knowledge in. So I encourage you guys, if you're heading to a space where you're going to be picking new hair color and doing these sorts of things, that, sorry, I'm just leaving my own live. There we go. If you guys are going to be doing these things and picking, a hair color brand for your salon, whether it's Wella or not, guys, I think that it's important to do those, to do your due diligence, to try the swatching and to have those before and afters. Have your sales reps, see if they can give you some samples and do some things so that you can really try these things out. Get to your educators and, have a conversation with us. You guys can message me on Instagram all the time. Anytime you want. I'm happy to hear from you guys at all times. But I learned so much from swatching, even when I have a reason that I'm doing it, whether I'm teaching or a point that I'm trying to make. But I think that when it comes to picking a color that makes sense for your salon or picking a line that makes sense for your salon, predictability is really key, and understanding how that color line works is really key as well. Okay. Before I go, guys, I want to talk a little bit about removal, because that was another thing I thought when I was preparing for this live, and what removal really looks like, right? So when it comes to removing hair color, the swatches that I showed you that were on Wella Color, Permanent Hair Color, professional brands, I think you guys will find, I'll leave you guys to do this because it's no fun to watch somebody on Instagram Live, do foils, on swatches, I mean. But I think it is really important to consider removal when you're picking a professional brand, right? When it comes to removing clients' hair who have colored their own hair, we need to have that hair history and all of those things. But when it comes to picking a color line that you want to carry in your salon, please make sure that you're considering removal. And not necessarily, I think when people talk about removal, they want to talk about like, oh, how strong is the lightener that you carry? I mean, Wella carries one of the best lighteners on the market with multi-blonde and now with blonde Orplex. So we don't struggle in that way, guys, but it's less about the lightener and more about how you use the lightener, more about how you use the products, right? So when you're testing a color, I encourage you guys to make sure that you're testing out the lightener in that line as well. And in realistic scenarios, not just simply trying to see how much you can lift from the darkest hair possible. It's not a realistic scenario for the salon, okay? So I think officially today, guys, to say that all hair color is created equal, that regardless of where you get it from or what line it is, that it's all the same, I think officially we can call that one a hoax. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't know why there's a fish on this graphic, but still, I think we can call that a hoax, okay? So I just wanted to say one more time, my name is Chelsea Mann. That is my Instagram handle. You guys can give me a follow on Instagram or slide into my DMs anytime. I'm happy to interact with you guys. I actually really, really love hearing from you guys. So you guys can follow me or send me a DM or whatever you got to do. Our next episode of Hacker Hoax, episode 6, is on March 26th, which for those of you watching does happen to be my birthday. Whoop whoop, 25. So on March 26th, Hacker Hoax here on Wella Canada West at 3 o'clock, we're going to be talking about shampoo. We're going to talk about is all shampoo created equal? We're going to talk about, should you shampoo your hair before you go to the hair salon? Is dirty hair easier to color? We're going to talk about all of those things, and I really, really can't wait. Okay, for now, guys, if you learned anything today, please make sure that you understand that you're not the owner of your knowledge. You're only the caretaker of it, and if you hoard it, guys, it is wasted. So please share it with your teams and pay forward the gifts that were given to you. Have a great weekend, guys, and I will talk to you guys soon. Don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.